Hello again, everyone, wherever you may be. I'm Scott Blair, and this is a live edition of 16 Pole Racing's The Horse Ride here. We're live from the Crosswalk Bar and Club across the street from the track here at Oaklawn Park, right across the street from the American Pharaoh statue. If you can find it, you can find us. You just take the crosswalk across the street, and you can walk right in the front door. And we're going to look at all the stakes races today here at Oaklawn. The three with the real biggie. We're going to save it for last, of course. The Oaklawn Handicap. It's star-studded, and it's highly anticipated from coast to coast today. My partner here on the horse right here is Lane Wittman. Lane, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good. How about you, Scott?
Oh, man, I'm fantastic. I'm ready to roll. I hated that it's raining out there right now. We've had so many pretty weekends here recently, and it was gorgeous yesterday. But some of these horses are going to have to deal with an off track.
And the ones in these stakes races, especially the big one, they've dealt with it before. It's not that big deal.
That's right. That's right. So we're ready to go. We're going to take a look at all three of these stakes races. We're going to start with number 6 on the card. It is the Bathhouse Row Stakes. It's $200,000 stakes race for 3-year-olds, a mile and an eighth. So these are horses that still may have some ambitions and some desires and some aspirations that they are going to meet up with some of these better 3-year-olds later in the year. I was just checking real quickly. None of these are Triple Crown nominated, so they're all late bloomers. I'm sorry. The number 4 is Triple Crown nominated. You're right. He just flashed a 4 to me. I didn't know if he was telling me horse 4 or if he's getting ready to hit a 4 iron into the green. But all right, Lang, let's go. A mile and an eighth, 200,000 Bathhouse Row.
Wow, this is, I've handicapped 533 races so far that have raced at Oaklawn this year, 12 more today, so that's 545 races. This might be the most difficult one I've had to deal with. I changed my picks multiple times last night. Now what I have sent out today and what I'm going with as my top pick is number 3, Chad Allen. And basically the reason why is because this horse has never raced on Lasix, and there's a lot of Lasix on these horses in this races, and there's no Lasix allowed in this race today. I can see what this horse has ran with no Lasix. I know what he's about with no Lasix, and some of these other ones in here, I do not know that. He's improved immensely since his race back in January at Oaklawn. That didn't go well, came in 7th, beat 24 lengths. But since then, he jumped up in the Ozark Stakes. They ran 4th, only beat 3 lengths, went an optional claimer, came in 4th. Then the last race, a non-winner of 2 lifetime, ran his best race of his career, lost by a neck with an 81 buyer figure at 12-1 odds. I think he's improving. I think if he likes the distance up here with a mile and an eighth today, I think he can get the victory right here as my top pick, number 3, Chad Allen. My second choice in the race, as you can see, look at all the scribbles I've got on this sheet. I'm going with number 6, Honey's to Blame, as my second choice, the Arkansas bred. Here's a horse that, 2 of his last 3 races, he has raced on Lasix, but the other races around that show me enough of a speed figure to think that he can be okay without the Lasix today. Now, the 2 races with Lasix were his 2 best speed figures, but I do think that compared to the others in the race, his non-Lasix races are good enough to get him in the money today as my second choice. And my third choice originally was one of my top picks, but I've changed multiple times. It's horse number 1, the Babe Slayer. Now, this horse has raced on Lasix in 6 of his 10 career starts. He doesn't have a lot of tremendous history without Lasix, but I don't know. I was not going to let Asmussen run one in here at 6-1 and me not have something on it. The one that the omission that I know you're going to ask about is horse number 2, Western Warrior, who has won 3 of his 7 career starts. He's won 3 in a row, all by open lengths. One of them by 7 lengths, one of them by 8 lengths. But all 3 of those races were with Lasix. You look at his races without Lasix, and it is a completely different story. I think on my tip sheet I sent out today, this is my 4th choice for the Superfecta. I didn't want to totally leave it out, but it's not in my top 3.
Yeah. Well, we're going to see how they do, and that's a good point on this situation with Lasix. as we have said so many times before, Lasix does not improve a horse. It just allows him to perform longer, do what he does best for a longer period of time. And so, especially if you got any horses here that are closers that are coming from off the pace, the reduction or the elimination of the Lasix is going to really affect them. Western Warrior, he likes to run pretty close. He has to give it up, so he might fade a little more. But he's ran in some decent allowance company here, and after he broke his maiden, but he did break it at the maiden claiming level. So I have him as a possibility. Mark Cassie's always got his horses ready. Anything else you want to say about him? I don't see him upsetting anybody here.
No, and I kind of, at 8-5 on the morning line, I do think he's going to go off favorite in the race, off the 3 straight wins, and he's kind of a play against for me. Maybe I'll throw him in if I bet a pick 3 or pick 4 or something, but he's against for the win for me.
Okay. Your third choice, the Babe Slayer. This is one of the more popular ones throughout my conversations during the week. It's noted what you said, that his best performances as well has been on Lasix, but he's ran in some restricted, limited stakes races and has done okay in those. And I could see him possibly jumping up and winning here today. I don't have any real strong feelings about him, but I could see him possibly getting to the wire first.
It did take him a while to get his maiden win, but since he got that, and yes, it has been on Lasix, but he showed steady improvement the last 3 races, and some more improvement today. Maybe the extra distance will be good for him. We'll see what happens. Also, he ended up my third choice.
Yeah, and one thing we're not looking at or haven't so far is with the first 2, and let's go ahead and mention it, how they performed on an off track. He hasn't done well either time when he ran on something that was other than fast, so that could be against him as well. Your second choice was this is a horse that I've got a little bit of affection for. I happen to know the breeder personally, Jackie Hopkins. He's from the River Valley area here in Arkansas, and I know him. And this horse has performed very well as an Archie bred. And but let's see how he can do in open company. Now, he did win an allowance race, first level, back in February against open company, and that's usually serious talent here at Oaklawn when you're running for $150,000. And so let's talk a little bit more about Honey's to Blame.
Yeah, after he won that race, they went and had a little. Let's see how good he might be. Jumped up into the Rebel Stakes. That didn't work out well, and that's okay. But you take your shot and see what you do have.
Yeah.
He came out of that stakes and ran back in a state-bred allowance race, non-winners of 3 lifetime, just missed by a neck.
Yeah.
And once again, that race was with Lasix, and the allowance win was with Lasix. So we'll see what happens here. But he has ran some decent races without Lasix, and I think he's going to be a real threat today in this race.
Yeah, for a little local flair here, I'll just let you know when he finished second by a neck in that state allowance race, he lost to $2 Eddie. $2 Eddie used to be a regular here, and at the Crosswalk, he hung out down here what I call about the 10th or 11th hole at the bar, and he was very popular around here, and that horse was named after him. But Honey's to Blame's never dealt with an off track, so it'll be interesting to see how he handles it today.
Yeah, it comes from off the pace, so that's one where without the Lasix, we'll see what happens there. I'm anxious to see what you think about my top pick, number 3, Chad Allen.
Okay, Chad Allen, there is no reason not to like him. He ran strictly in open company. He's a Kentucky bred, but I'm just saying he's ran here at Oaklawn at the allowance level and has fared well. He lost by only a neck in his allowance try of non-winners 2 life, and that was last out. He doesn't have any off-track experience, so I have no problem with him. And here we go. He's one that can come off the pace, and we know he can carry his distance without the Lasix. He's already proven he can go a mile with no Lasix, and he was getting stronger as he went. So if he handles the off track, I think he is definitely a horse to be considered and to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and I also like the 7-2 morning line. Maybe we'll get that, as I think the 2 horse is going to be heavily betting this race off 3 straight wins by a total of 17 lengths.
Yeah, he's got the Baconator up. Tyler has had an okay year, not what he had as an apprentice a year ago, but he's still a decent jockey. So let's see if those connections can get this done here in the Bathhouse Rose Stakes. Lane, go ahead and put them back in order one more time for us.
Yeah, today the 6th race at Oaklawn. My top pick, number 3, Chad Allen. My second choice, number 6, Honey's to Blame. And my third choice, number 1, the Babe Slayer.
Okay, now we're going to jump to the 9th, and this is the fillies version of the same race. They're going a mile here, but these are fillies that are 3 years old that are going to go 2 turns, but just haven't quite cracked that top tier, so they're not ready to run against the more prominent 3-year-old fillies that have been on the grounds. And so this is a great little place for them here. And so let's talk about this. And I'll let you go ahead and get started. I don't know if I mentioned they're going 1 mile, so that's once around the oval with a very short stretch. Lane, take it away.
Yeah, and we talked about this on the podcast the other night. And my top pick then, and still my top pick, horse number 5, Scott's Law. I think this horse might have been pointed to this race by trainer John Ortiz. Last raced February 26th. Came in second, got beat a length by the 6 horse in this race, Sticker Shock. Sticker Shock has ran again since then, moved out to the Fantasy where it came in 4th but beat 21 lengths. Sticker Shock will face Scott's Law again here today. But another reason, and we go back to the Lasix again, no Lasix in the stakes race. Scott's Law, unlike some others in here, has never raced on Lasix and has ran good races, has not raced since February 26th, has worked decent up until this race. I think he's been pointed to this race, and I think a big effort today from Scott's Law is expected, 2-1 on the morning line. My second choice, we are going to go with number 8, Nickel and Dime, for trainer Randy Morse. He's had a very good meet here at Oaklawn this year. Rafael Bejarano riding. This horse has been pretty consistent, moving up the ranks from raced in the Mockingbird, raced in the Martha Washington, and the Honeybee. Had Lasix in her last race, where she won by 6 lengths. But I think the races that she ran, the Honeybee, the Martha Washington, were good enough for her to be a force in this race and one that you can't totally overlook. So Nickel and Dime is my second choice in this race. Originally, my third choice in the race was number 4, Miss Call. She is scratched in this race. We got the scratches a little while ago. And so I'm going to shift to Sticker Shock, number 6, was my 4th choice on my sheet today. Slid her up to number 3 on my group of picks. Obviously, you can throw out that Fantasy somewhat. It's just she wasn't maybe up to that caliber of horse. But from the maiden special weight win to the allowance win with Lasix was a pretty big jump in speed, and that dropped off immensely in the Fantasy. Was it because of the Lasix? Was it because of the competition? I don't know, but she has ran pretty big that one time, and I don't want to totally dismiss Sticker Shock as my third choice. So here in the 9th race today, I have it 5-8-6.
Yeah, my problem with number 6, or not my problem, but my concern with number 6, Sticker Shock, is in that Fantasy, when I'm looking at a Brisnet form, those pace numbers, those internal pace numbers were way below par, and she couldn't keep her lead there. I mean, she wasn't in the lead, but she was right there in the front within a length or two, and she just faded in the stretch. Now, I've been involved with horses before that they just didn't feel good that day. I mean, heck, we had a Fleet Alex here run 8th in the Rebel and come back and win the Arkansas Derby because he had a lung infection during the Rebel, and so maybe something like that was wrong with her. I don't know if she bled, but there's some reason she dropped off at what I would consider a very slow pace that day, and that just gives me reason for pause with Sticker Shock today.
Yeah, she was heavily bet that day too, under 2-1 on the odds, and I didn't like her that day. I remember when we talked about the Fantasy on the podcast. I don't think we really liked her that much. You had the same reasons then as you mentioned now, and I respect her enough over some of these other ones to put her third, but that's as high as I can go with her.
Okay, your second choice is Nickel and Dime. I really like this horse. I think it's got consistent speed figures, and romped last time did have Lasix on board when she did it, but I really like her, and I think she could very easily win today.
I won't disagree with that at all. While she's not my top pick, she is definitely a threat to win this race, and it wouldn't surprise me at all.
And she's a perfect example. When she ran in the Grade 3 Honeybee, she ran against what would be considered a slow pace and dropped off. Then she came right back and did it one more time. Is that a result of the Lasix? I don't know. But you do have to keep that under consideration. She's never ran on an off track. Don't know how she's going to handle that. But I really like her chances.
What are your internal figures show over there on her Martha Washington race?
On her Martha Washington race, she was way above par.
Okay,
I mean, especially the first. Yeah.
And she was on the lead, and she held it, and that was with no Lasix. So
Yeah.
I mean, she's done it before. So she's definitely a threat in this race.
Yeah, and she's shortening up here too, so she doesn't have to go quite as far. I mean, we're only going a mile today, and if you can turn home, in the lead in that short stretch, that's a huge advantage. So and she's out there in the 8 hole. She's not going to have any problems as long as Bejarano can guide her in, and she doesn't go way wide on the first turn. She should really be in control of the race, or should have no reason not to be in control of the race when they turn for home. Anything else on her?
Yeah, and that's where Bejarano or the jockeys, if the track's wet, I've noticed this year especially, when you turn for home, you want to be, when the track's wet, you want to be on that 4 path that looks like 4
you
or
need
5.
to be in the center of the track. There's no doubt.
Yeah, and whoever is either coming down the middle or racing down the middle has a huge advantage over anybody on the inside.
Do not disagree. She'll have her ability to and an opportunity to pick her spot as they turn for home if she runs in the early stage of the races like she's designed to do. Okay, your top pick is Scott's Law, number 5, John Ortiz and Christian Torres. And, yeah, it's hard to argue with this one. Just missed last time, but did have to go 6 wide kind of as they turn for home. And she got brushed a little bit at the 16th pole. May have disrupted her momentum just a little bit. And so I could very easily see her winning this. I think she would be my top pick as well.
I see her racing just outside of Nickel and Dime and trying to pass in the short stretch.
Yeah, I was going to look at that real quick, and I was going to look at Nickel and Dime. Yeah, they should be pretty competitive down the stretch. It's a short stretch, but she doesn't run far off the lead. Scott's Law doesn't. It looks like to me, typically when they get ready to turn for home, she's within a length of the leader. So it should be a duel down the stretch between Scott's Law and Nickel and Dime, in my opinion.
I agree, and this might be a good exactor for everybody. I mean, I think Sticker Shock might be favored again, and we're lukewarm at best on Sticker Shock. So let's take the 5 and the 8 here, and maybe find a $20 exactor for $1.
Yeah, you could do that. Also, you can also look for doubles. We're not covering any races on either side of this race, but you could also look into some doubles into and out of Scott's Law. So that's some place to maybe find a little value there. All right, now we're time for the big race, the big one of the day, the Grade 2 Oaklawn Handicap. It's a purse of $1.25 million for the older horses, 4 years old and up. They're going 1 1/8 miles, and man, we got some stars, don't we?
Yes, we do. And I kind of had to eat a little crow on this because people were talking about before it was announced that what if journalism comes? What if I said journalism's not coming? Okay, this is going to be White Barrio versus Sovereignty, and that's still a great race. That was be a good race here at Oaklawn, especially for the $1.25 million. And then you have journalism's crew put out the Twitter message a week ago Friday saying they were coming. And at first, I had to make sure it wasn't one of those fake accounts or something.
Yeah,
I didn't really believe that. And then once you see that it's real, there's like, oh, this race took on a whole new dimension then. And I have not looked it up. I don't think I even have to. I think this is the richest group of horses in a field in the history of Oaklawn Park.
Well, it's the richest group of horses, but it also has the richest maiden ever in history. Publisher won $500,000 by the time he broke his maiden. That's unbelievable.
I mean,
and then he went on to win 2 more.
Yeah, there's over $18 million, I believe, in earnings for this field. I don't know what race in the past would have even come close to that.
Oh, I don't think there is. I don't think there's, there's been some great horses running.
Yes,
Just don't,
but not
even
multiple
older.
great
Yeah,
horses.
no,
Not
exactly.
like this.
I mean, we've had Cigar, we've had Zenyatta, we've had, Rachel Alexander. We've had a lot of horses that were really accomplished older horses here. And I no disrespect to the ones I'm forgetting and not mentioning, but my point is I think if you're talking about 3 or 4 really good, I don't know that we've ever had anything like this. Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, I'll be 58 in a couple of weeks, and I don't remember it.
Okay.
So
there's a lot of things you forget when you get.
That's true too.
Okay. All right, let's go through them. Who's your top pick?
When I envisioned this race, when the 3 horses were announced, I was making scenarios in my mind where White Barrio can steal this race on the front end. And then I got the past performances, and I started looking to see whether that was the case or not. And I changed my mind. I don't think he can. I mean, because my top pick is going to be the favorite, Sovereignty. There's just nothing that you can point at to be wrong with this horse. 9 career starts, 6 wins, 2 places. Only time he wasn't in first or second was his initial outing where he came in 4th. He's 2 for 2 on a wet track. If the track is sloppy today, the Kentucky Derby and the Belmont were on off tracks last year, and he came through with flying colors on that. There's just only thing that you can look at is the 7-month layoff. And I think Bill Mott knows how to bring a horse up to a race off a layoff, so that's not necessarily a huge issue for me. Now, I do know that Sovereignty and Journalism, neither one, this isn't the goal. The goal is the Breeders' Cup Classic at the end of the year, so they're not going to be all the way jacked up today, but they're both going to be ready to win this race. I saw Mott talking about how he wanted to protect the horse's record, make sure the horse had a good record. So that just tells me that you just look at the workouts here for Sovereignty. He's been working bullets. So, I mean, he's ready to win today. I saw him on track in some video, and I was just like, wow, okay, I'm not picking against that horse.
Well, let's be real honest here. Godolphin doesn't need any money. They came to win. Okay. And this isn't, this isn't, in my opinion, this is not a tune-up for anything. They came to win today. And so we'll see how that plays out. I'll let you keep going, and we'll get more into some of this discussion.
Yeah, my second choice is going to be Journalism. A tremendous horse, maybe just born in the wrong year, where he has to run into Sovereignty. I tell you, Journalism, if he was born in a different year, maybe wins the Triple Crown last year. I mean, you got a second, a first, and a second in 3 races, and they just couldn't get by Sovereignty.
Yeah.
And until he does get by Sovereignty, I'm not picking him to beat Sovereignty, especially at lower odds, 2-1, 5-2, whatever he's going to be today. So he's obviously my second choice. I'm going to go with White Barrio as my third choice. The $7.7 million earner in his career. But when I look at his past performances, his last 10 races, he's ran 4 races where he didn't finish in the money. Those were all away from Gulfstream Park at Saratoga. Well, you could say maybe he just doesn't like Saratoga. But you look back in August of 23, he did win the Grade 1 Whitney at Saratoga.
Yeah.
So it's not about not liking Saratoga. It's about him just being comfortable at Gulfstream, I think, these days. He's not at Gulfstream today. I do think he might be on the lead here for a while, but I think ultimately he fades, and he's my third choice.
Okay. We'll start backwards here. First, we're going to start about a horse that we haven't mentioned. That's Publisher. Does he got any chance at all? Can he hit the board?
I don't know. I mean, far be it from me to suggest to Steve Asmussen how to train a horse or how to enter a horse in a race.
Yeah.
I mean, because I've won 0 races and he's won, 11,000 or something?
Yeah.
But that being said, this is a horse's 4th race in 60 days.
Yeah.
And that's a little iffy for me to even hit the board here. I think if this horse was rested and the way he's improved in his last 3 races, yes, he could hit the board if White Barrio fades a lot. But I'm kind of skeptical of that with 4 races in 60 days.
Yeah. Well, here's one thing that we haven't mentioned real quickly about him is seems like he did win his last race without Lasix, but he's the horse that seems to have come into his own when he was able to add the Lasix. And like I said, he did win the American Pharoah without it. But today he is running without it, and that might be his demise. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
any other comments about him?
I did not have Publisher when he finally broke his maiden. He was
Mhm.
one that I'm staying against until he does finally win a race.
Mhm.
But his last two races, I have had him. I'm not going to have him on my tickets today.
Okay, Wadabario. As you look at the form, and as I went through watching some of the other analysis of this race throughout the week, the people, who's going to take the lead here? That's the problem.
Mhm.
I mean, not the problem, but that's the conundrum here. That's the question. Who's going to go to the front here? Wadabario might be the one, right?
Yeah, I do believe that. Like I said, off my initial thoughts, I still believe that is going to be the case. I think he's going to be heavily bet as well. I mean, on social media all week,
Yeah.
everybody's loving the white horse.
Yeah.
White horse.
Well,
Everybody's going to take the white horse.
And on these big Saturdays at Oaklawn, you get all these casual bettors that come out, and a lot of those $2 bettors are going to bet a white horse. You just don't see them. We were watching stuff this morning at the house, and my wife goes, "Man, that Wadabario, he's just gorgeous, isn't he?" I mean, it just catches your eye. Yeah.
I think there's a scenario where he might be the second choice on the board. And if that's the case, for me, the exacta bet is straight sovereignty over journalism.
Okay. All right. And so maybe those $2 bettors will help us out and drive Wadabario odds down and maybe allow us to have some exacta play, as you're saying.
And I tell you what, though, I mean, it's crazy that we're kind of talking down on Wadabario, who's won a Breeders' Cup Classic, who's won a Pegasus World Cup, who has 10 wins in his career and earned $7.7 million. That's how stiff the competition there is in this race.
Yeah, it really is. All right. Second choice, journalism. Yeah, you said he might have been born in the wrong year. On top of that, he couldn't get a break because Sovereignty didn't retire, which everybody thought he would, but he's back again, and guess who he's going to meet? First time out as a 4-year-old. He's back against Sovereignty again. And by the way, you mentioned this. I happened to be there that day. I played journalism heavy in the Kentucky Derby. It was in the slop. And who would have ever thought that an End of Mischief would run down a Curlin in the stretch of the Kentucky Derby? But it happened that day. And the only thing that I think that might be to journalism's advantage here today is it is only 1 1/8 miles. That helps him. And, and then you've got the wild card here of how does the layoff affect either one of these horses? Who comes through it? But my point is we both know they can run on slop. That's no problem at all. All right. Tell me how journalism gets this done and wins.
Wow. You ask me an easy question next time. Yeah. I'll tell you what, journalism is such a good horse. I mean, 11 starts, 10 times in the money, 6 wins, 3 places. Maybe because his layoff is not quite as long as Sovereignty. I mean, his last race was the Breeders' Cup Classic in November, while Sovereignty hasn't raced since August in the Travers. Mm-hmm. Maybe that little bit extra right there is enough to get him home, stay in front of Sovereignty, not have Sovereignty run him down today. I do think it would not shock me one bit is if somewhere at the head of the stretch, journalism takes the lead from Wadabario, but then he's still going to have to hold off Sovereignty.
Yeah. Okay. Sovereignty, as we mentioned, he doesn't need the money. He's already won almost $6 million. He's owned by Godolphin. Bill Mott, like I said, they came here to win. Can you imagine a situation? I mean, this is the same question, just posed a different way. Is there a way he loses? I mean, other than maybe taking a really bad step at the beginning or something and getting too far behind. Any way that Sovereignty just doesn't get it done.
Man, one thing about Sovereignty is you look at his last race, and I know it was last August the 23rd at Saratoga in the Travers. He won that race, and I know there's only 5 horses entered, but he won that race by 10. And the horse that came in third that day, 20 lengths back, was Magnitude, who a couple of weeks ago won the Saudi Cup over across the pond. Mm-hmm. So, and he was 20 lengths behind Sovereignty. If Sovereignty is cranked up, let's say at 85%, I don't see him losing this race.
Yeah, Magnitude really flattered him with that win. I went with Magnitude at the Travelers. I was there that day, and I thought, okay, here's our chance. I'm going to get my money back that Sovereignty took from me in the Kentucky Derby, and it just did not work out very well at all. Sovereignty proved that he was the best 3-year-old in the country that day. There was no doubt about it, and he even eased in the stretch and still won by 10. Okay, so I don't know what else to say about this. You're not. I would think Sovereignty most likely will be a pretty heavy favorite. He's 4 to 5 morning line, and I'm not one of these guys that can usually estimate what I think the final odds are going to be real well. I have to think it's going to be around even money somewhere. So I'm going to be looking at how I leverage him into a paying ticket. Once again, is that an exacta? Is that a double? So, and he's going to be a lot of people single in that late pick 3. I don't know what you do. Like I said to somebody, and it may have been in our podcast, that this may be one where I just venture over to the First Turn Bar and get me a really expensive bourbon and just go watch.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, if Sovereignty is even money, that's the play.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he might be 3 to 5.
Okay.
If it's even money, I mean, I think he's only got to beat Journalism, and that's just like betting a ball game.
Mm-hmm.
This is Sovereignty's race to lose.
Okay, put them in order, and then we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah, the 11th race, the Oaklawn Handicap today. Give me number 3, Sovereignty, on top of number 5, Journalism, number 1, White Barrio as the third choice.
Okay, Lang, I appreciate you joining me. This is our last live show here for you and me. We still have a couple more recorded podcasts to do for next week, and then as well as the Kentucky Derby weekend. We're going to have some of those, and then we'll go throughout the year. But I want to thank you for joining me here at the Crosswalk, and let's thank the Crosswalk themselves. This group here does a fantastic job on race weekends. They have on Saturdays, they have $7 Bloody Marys all day long. Out front, you can see the banner for tonight's Horseman's Crawfish Boil. My groups, 16th Pole Racing and 10 Strike, are both sponsors. Jason is going to have a big spread of crawfish, sausage, potatoes, and corn. It's all complimentary. Thanks to the sponsors that are out here on the banner. There's just too many of them to mention, but we appreciate all them. Let's thank Arkansas Beverage Sales. That's the Anheuser-Busch distributor, Michelob Ultra. You can see it in front of us. We want to appreciate and thank them for all their help with this podcast and being one of our sponsors. We also want to thank Brothers Roofing and Restoration. They are a long time residential roofing specialists in the state of Arkansas. They cover this area. We're having storms this time of year. If you think that your roof has been damaged in a storm, look up brothersroofing48.com and contact them. They'll be glad to come out and take a look and help you through that situation. Also, we always like to thank, even though they're not involved in the live podcast, we always want to thank ESPN Arkansas at hitthatline.com. Lang is a guest on their the Morning Rush every Friday during the Oaklawn meet at 10:45 a.m., right?
Yeah,
I always want to confirm
that,
about somewhere thereabout. Tommy, Ty, and all the other ones, Christian and Colton, all of those, we appreciate them and supporting us. You can find our recorded podcast on their website, hitthatline.com. All right, Lang, anything else before we go? Yeah. Tell them how they get all your picks.
Yeah, if you want my picks sometime, just look me up on social media at the Railbird 333, whether that's Facebook, X, TikTok, or Instagram. I'm on all 4 of those. Hit me up and we can get you set up for one day, a weekend, or a whole meet if it's coming up to Saratoga here later in the summer.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, there you have it, everybody. We appreciate you joining us, and we appreciate everybody here at the Crosswalk today. So before we go, what I always like to say in closing is, no matter what you're doing today, tomorrow, or at any time, always go fast and win. Thanks, Lang.
Thank you, Scott.